There's a parasite living in cat feces that can infect rats, and when it does, it alters their brain chemistry in a weird way. And rather than their innate fear of cat urine, so the thing that would deter them, now suddenly attracts them to them. The infected rat starts to seek out its own predator. The cat then eats the rat, and the parasite completes its life cycle in the cat's digestive system. This manipulation of brain chemistry is elegant but equally horrifying, and it raises a disturbing question. What if it's doing the same thing to humans? Toxoplasma gondii infects an estimated 30% of the global human population, though these rates can vary by different regions and countries. But you get it from cat litter, undercooked meat, or contaminated water. All areas where all areas where you might interact with the cat as well as the rat. But for most people, they're asymptomatic, but there are some studies that found correlations between toxoplasma infections and increased risk-taking behaviors, high rates of traffic accidents, and even schizophrenia. Now, some research suggests infected men become more aggressive and suspicious, while infected women become more outgoing and trusting. The parasite might subtly be modifying human behavior to increase the risk of chance. The parasite might be subtly modifying human behavior to increase the chance of transmission. This impact on our own brain chemistry is equally terrifying. And toxoplasma forms cysts in the brains, particularly in the amygdala, which processes fear and emotions. It manipulates neurotransmitter production, especially dopamine. In rats, this eliminates the fear of predators. In humans, it might be just tweaking our personalities and our decision making in ways we don't really notice. You think you're making free choices, but there's a microscopic parasite that might be nudging you in a particular direction. And this cuts right into the free will debate, but from an unexpected angle. We usually frame free will as a question about determinism, and in some cases, even physics. But what if the real threat to your autonomy isn't the law of nature, but it's a parasite? You're potentially being influenced by something that's hijacked your brain that has its own evolutionary agenda. And here's the really unsettling part of that question. You might never know. The changes are so subtle that you feel like they're your own thoughts, your own personality. This is a literal example of what philosophers might call the manipulation argument. If a scientist altered your brain to make you more risk taking, we'd say you weren't free. But what if evolution created a parasite that does the same thing? Is there a meaningful dif- is there a meaningful difference? Toxoplasma reveals that the boundary between the you and not you is more porous than what we might want to believe. Your personality might be partially parasitic. And the irony, you'd have no way of telling which are your genuine thoughts